and well and happy and in a positive mood for a happy Wednesday. I've been asked to do this by Wirral Chamber, which was great. I'm so grateful for the opportunity. JF Recruit, our team have this conversation every day with our clients. So it's a really great opportunity to present very quickly some top tips for you. And for anybody else that you may know who are conducting virtual interviews within businesses. The presentation will be for 20-25 minutes, and then we'll go straight into Q&A, and then we'll have you all finished before 10. Does that sound good to everybody? Thank you very much. I can't see everybody, so hi to everybody who's here. So why would you listen to me? Why would you listen to what Jo Finnerty has got to say? Well, I've got 25 years recruitment experience. I've interviewed thousands of candidates on behalf of clients, and I've filled thousands of vacancies for my clients. With JF Recruit, we have a success rate of placing candidates of 99%. What does that mean? Basically means that when we place a candidate within a company and we invoice on their first day, there's an 8-week period that if anything goes wrong with the first 8 weeks, if the person leaves or the company isn't happy with them, then we have to give money back. So we have to rebate our fee. And our success rate of placing candidates and them staying in positions is 99%, which is unheard of within the recruitment industry. Around the REC that governs what recruitment agencies do, and they provide our legal helpline. We were in contact with them all the time, especially obviously at the moment. And yeah, they said the rate is really good, so I should shout about it, so we do. So straight in, our top 10 interview tips. Number 1, so you've advertised a vacancy, you've received lots of CVs, you've done your CV sift, and you have chosen the people that you want to interview. So you will send a properly written job description and person specification to each candidate and make sure that they've got all that information so that they know they understand which job they're applying to and what skills and experience you are looking for from a business, and also culture fit as well. So ensure that all your candidates, even though they've applied for the job online, that you've sent them a properly written job description and person specification. Now, I could talk for a couple of hours about job descriptions and person specifications, but what I will say quickly is that when you recruit somebody, when you have a need within your business to recruit, don't just revisit a previous job description and person spec. Blow the dust off it and then say, there you go, that's what we need to recruit for, let's get it advertised. Really sit down and think strategically where your business is right now. Because if Tilly has given a notice in and is leaving your business, do you really need, and she says she's been with you 3-4 years or 6 months or 15 years, do you actually need to replace Tilly? I'm sure that role has changed. I'm sure that Tilly has taken on more roles and responsibilities, and that job description will have changed. Your company will have changed, so your structure may be different. You may think you need a full-time person, but actually you don't. You just need a part-time person, and you could outsource what Tilly was doing, which cuts down on your overheads, because staff is a big amount of overhead from a business. So if, you know, especially now, to cut down on overheads is huge, you know. So I outsource a lot. We have a small team. I have a network of 25 recruiters, both in the UK, locally and internationally, that we work with for some of our vacancies. And I outsource a lot. So I outsource, obviously, accountancy, IT, some social media. I have 2 PAs. Now, that doesn't sound grandiose at all. It just means that doing admin doesn't generate me an invoice. So me and my team work on actions that generates an invoice, i.e. we do the recruitment. That's what our clients pay us for. And all the admin within our business is outsourced out. If anybody wants to ask me about that, then ring me or send me an email. Contact details are at the end of this presentation. So you've sent out the properly written job description and person specification, and you need to give that candidate time to prepare. So we have clients that ring us and go, great, got the CVs, we'll interview this afternoon. Oh, no, you need to give the candidates time to prepare. And you want them at their best. You don't want to catch them out. You want to be able to give them time to research your business, read the job description and person spec, really delve deep into your company website. This is where your company website, especially in virtual times, is crucial. And I'll talk about that as well. We advise all our candidates to check the interviewers out on LinkedIn, because they may have worked in the same companies previously. There may be some, I can't think of the word, but you know, when you have got some shared common interest, you've got some common interest. So that really, really works. It puts the candidates at ease. If the candidates are fully prepared, then they'll just give the best representation of themselves. And that's what you really want. You also want to be able to question their research. So give them time to prepare. Number 3, prepare yourself. Allow time to test the connection. The amount of candidate interviews that we've done over the years, because we were set up to work online from day one 7 years ago, because a lot of our candidates, we do a lot of our candidate interviews out of hours because they're working during the day. So to be able to offer that service where we ring candidates at 6, 7 at night, or 8 in the morning, or 7:30, or at the weekend, to get great candidates, sometimes they can't take time off. You know, they may not have any more holidays left. So we do lots of candidate calls 24/7. Not 24/7, but you know what I mean. But we're very, very flexible, and we're real with regards to candidate requirements and their needs. So the amount of times that they've been sitting on the couch when they're doing their interview, or they're not ready, or they're slouched, or the connections aren't right, or whatever. You know, we are when we interview our candidates, you make judgments. You are making judgments all the time, and if they are prepared, they look professional, they're sitting upright in their chair, and they've tested all the connections and everything's working great, they feel amazing. And also yourselves. So prepare yourself, allow time to test the connection. There's nothing worse if a candidate is waiting for an interview with you. They're already nervous. They're so nervous. And you want to ease them into the interview. So you don't want to be faffing around with testing connections and not being prepared and sorting out your seating and sorting out the lighting, etc. People need to be able to see you. Number 4, choose a quiet, well-lit room with minimal distractions. Okay, so you may see that pitch. Can you all see the picture of the light on that presentation? Yeah, so that's what I have in front of me. it's taken me 12 weeks to get this set up because I just tested lots of different scenarios. The best scenario is to face a window, and when I do when the JF Recruit team do our videos, we sit in front of a window and have natural light and have some JF Recruit branding behind us. So choose a quiet, well-lit room with minimal distractions. Minimal distractions, we're all real. A lot of us are working from home, some are working from offices. Distractions will happen. It can be quite funny. It can be quite funny when you have distractions. I love hearing people's dogs, and one of my candidates had a parrot last week, and it was so loud. But it was great. It just made me laugh throughout the whole candidate interview. It was so funny. And I had 2 other client meetings where they had parrots. One even had a parrot on top of his head when he was talking to me. A client, can you imagine that? But people are people. We're all real, aren't we? So distractions happen. The amount of delivery drivers I have coming in and out, with my Amazon orders and whatever. But it's just real. So don't worry too much. But if it's going to put you off, then just liaise with the household and say to them, I need some quiet for the next hour. And it will really, really help you. And also what I do is if I know people are coming to my door, then I will actually put a notice on the front door saying, in a meeting, just leave boxes on the step. So again, it's just making sure that you won't be distracted. Number 5, prepare a strong company pitch. Okay, so before COVID, in some areas, it was a candidate-driven market. During this situation, in some areas, it's still a candidate-driven market, especially in some areas such as engineering, accountancy. They are still struggling to find candidates, and candidates are not moving within those industries. And so you may think that there are thousands and thousands of candidates out there looking for work. But in our experience over the last 12 weeks, there is a lot of candidate movement for various reasons. Number 1, they want to leave the company they're working for at the moment because they're not happy the way they've been treated over the last 12 weeks. Number 2, they now want a job working from home, and the company want them back in the office straight away, or as soon as it's safe to do so. And they don't want to go back and work in an office. They quite like working from home. They're more productive. It's a great lifestyle for them. Number 3, they want to go back to work in an office, but their company, that their employers have said, actually, we all want you to work from home now, and that doesn't suit everybody. Some people are itching to get back into the workplace because they may have a home situation that is not working for them, especially for busy households, or even if people live on their own. I mean, I live on my own, and I love it, right? Love it. And I've been more productive here than I have been working from the office. But I do miss my team, and I miss that interaction, and we all learn from each other every day. But, every person is different. So in some areas, there are quite a few people available and looking for work, but you've always got to remember that your company, you want to attract the best employees. And we have candidates on interview this week that have already got job offers from other businesses. So how do you stand above? How do you stand out from that crowd of other businesses giving job offers to the candidates that you want? And this is how you do it. So you prepare a strong company pitch, i.e. you've got to sell yourselves to the candidates, and to communicate with them why you are a great company to work for. So we recruit for great employers. And you can ask me what makes a great employer later. But great employers never really have a problem with recruiting. And they have a strong company pitch. They have a strong company message. They have on the website, they've got the culture, they've got the values, they have videos, a virtual tour of their premises. Because think about it, if you as a candidate are going for or attending a virtual interview, as the candidate, how do you know that they are going to be a great employer? If you can't go into the offices, if you can't have a chat with people that you first meet, if you can't walk around the offices and gain for yourself what the culture fit is going to be, do the staff look happy? Do the staff look unhappy? Do they flinch when the boss comes in? You know, we attend loads of meetings during the year, month after month, day after day, and we ascertain from those walk rounds what a great company it is. And I will even speak to the business owner and say, that the atmosphere is a bit, has something happened, and they're like, oh, why, what? And, your staff don't look very happy. I'm really honest. I'm really honest, because a lot of our candidates come through us via other clients. So they'll say, can you help my niece out? Can you help my nephew out? So we have a responsibility to recruit for great employers, because if it goes wrong and we place somebody in a company that isn't great, then that's our reputation on the line. So prepare a strong company pitch, virtual tour. If you can have interviews with your staff and put them on your website, oh, amazing. I had a client years ago on the Wirral, and they were recruiting lots and lots of people, and they wanted to be seen as a great employer, and they were, oh my God, and they still are. They're an amazing business. Everybody wants to work for them. Absolutely. The benefits go off the page. It's like 3 or 4 pages of benefits, and they're just a great company to work for. They also, I checked recently, and they've taken them off, and I don't know why, but they had a virtual walk around of the whole building. They're on 2 floors, and they've got about 300 staff. So they did a virtual walk around, and they had interviews with about 5 of their staff in the premises, and it came across really, really well, very genuine. You saw the team culture. It really was. They weren't prepped. It was really, really good. And that sold the business to employees. It was amazing. So if you can do videos, I work with 2 companies that provide that produce virtual tour videos. We're getting one done for ourselves. My team don't know this, actually. I only sourced it out yesterday, but we've got we're going to do virtual tour videos for JF Recruit, and interviews with the JF Recruit staff as to why it's a I'm not going to say a great place to work, but they'll tell you on our website. So prepare a strong pitch. Number 6, personable introductions. So there may be just one person doing the interview. I like it when more than one person gets involved. If you have somebody representing HR, somebody representing the team that they're going to be working in, and You may have a manager of that department plus somebody who is on their level. So whoever you're recruiting for, if you've got somebody of that level, if you can bring them into the interview as well, it really, really helps. And it's not that scary to the candidate. Don't think it's scary, because the more people that they can meet, especially on virtual interviews, the better. So personal introductions, obviously introduce yourself, why you work for this company, and why it's a great place to work, what your position is, how long you've been there, why do you work there, which is really powerful. Why do you stay working for the employer, or why are you a great business to work for? And if you're not too sure why you're a great business to work for, because I ask that question a lot to our clients, why are you a great company to work for? And they go, oh, I don't know. But they should know, because it's feedback from the employees. So just ask your employees, ask them the question. In your we do monthly reviews, we do daily job 2 daily job meetings and weekly reviews, daily reviews, because our jobs change all the time, and people on interview and feedback, etc. So I'm in contact with the team every couple of hours during the day. But basically, I've lost my tangent there. And this is me. I'll go off on a tangent sometimes and then come back to it. But anyway, I'll go back to personal instructions. Claire, where was I? Where have I missed there?
I think you were just talking about introducing to the team and getting everyone involved so that the candidate relaxes.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
We all join in then now.
No, you can't. No. So personal introductions, introduce everybody in the team, and it just relaxes the candidate. Don't think that they're scary. It's going to be a scary process. Just it's going to be really relaxing, and if they get to know you and your hobbies and interests, whatever you can do to relax the candidate and introduce you and to sell your business, it really, really works. Number 7, have the right questions. So when I'm interviewing candidates to join the JF Recruit team, I've got a crib sheet of questions to ask them with regards to if they're going to come in on a 360 recruiter role, or whether they're going to come in as a resourcer role, or an admin, or a salesperson, a BDM. I have different questions for each position. And it's just make sure that I don't forget any of the questions, because, I can go off on a tangent sometimes, and, just like before. And if you've got a set of questions, it really, really helps. And have competency-based questions. So if you are a company that work in a very fast-paced environment, then you really want to be asking a question about, have you worked in a fast-paced environment? Can you give me an example? Can you give me an example of when you've worked in a fast-paced environment? And that's a competency-based question. And what you are looking for from the candidate is for them to give you a STAR answer. S, situation. T, task. A, action. R, result. And you can add an E on the end of that, which is evaluate. So, for example, the candidate will say, yeah, when I worked for such and such, say Money Tree, Phil Broders is here from Money Tree. When I worked for Money Tree Financial Solutions, it was a very fast-paced environment. The calls were coming in. This is for, say, an admin reception role. Calls were coming in all the time. I had to prioritize what I was doing. I was communicating with the team all the time with regards to priorities. The task was obviously to take lots of calls and filter them through to the team, or filter those calls away from the team. Action, prioritize, chatted with the team every day, made sure that I was doing a great job, made sure that the actions were making sure that I was doing what I was supposed to do. And the result was that I kept a lot of calls away from the IFAs, which meant that they weren't bombarded with call after call after call, because that's what my job was. That's what I was being paid to do. The IFAs were made up with me because I was able to handle some calls that they would have normally got involved with. And yeah, that was the result. So they've gone through the situation. I worked at this company and I was receptionist. Task, my job was to field calls away from the IFAs. The action that they took was to do the job, and the result was the IFAs and the company were made up with that employee. Does that make sense? Yeah, a few nods, great. And then E, evaluate. They can, evaluate that on an ongoing basis and make sure that they're still doing a great job. So in my one-to-ones, every month I would always ask, Phil, am I doing a great job? Is there anything else I can change to help me be a better employee? And that's what your monthly reviews are there for. I do monthly reviews of my staff. They can be 5 minutes, they can be an hour, depends on what we talk about, but it gives you time to evaluate what's going on in your business, how they are feeling, gives them time out. We go to a separate place, we go down the bistro in lorries, or we go for a walk round the building for half an hour. Just make it different, but you need that constant feedback from your employees as to how they're getting on, because also you don't want any surprises. I never want any surprises with my staff. I don't want any of them coming to me and going, oh my God, I've been feeling like this for ages and I just couldn't speak to you. That means that I haven't done a good job, because I say I'm always here. I'm always here to talk to. I may not be available from 10 till 2 because I've got that meeting, and those are my priorities, but I'm certainly free after 2. So again, it's boundaries, it's giving your staff the boundaries and working to those that also works for you as well. So STAR really, really works. 8, effective communication, tone, pitch, body language, facial cues. This is really good for you to test out with your friends and family on your Zoom quizzes. Ask them how you're coming across. Ask that, how do I look? I'm going to be doing some interviews next week. Critique me now. Let's have a conversation and critique me now. I've asked my staff to attend this today so they can critique me after this, because I'm always looking for ways in which to deliver better. I've done loads of speaking events over the last over the years, really, face to face, but obviously the Zoom is very different. And I'm like, am I looking at the right camera angle? Am I looking round? Am I going a lot? And you just need that constant feedback. So ask your friends and family, or your business colleagues, have Zoom meetings with them and say, how am I coming across? What do I look like? Am I in the darkness? Am I in the light? Can people see me? Can you see the whole of my face? Because there's no good in doing candidate interviews if nobody can see you. If you're sitting in the dark and nobody can see any facial cues. Like I'm looking at Claire now, and we've had a discussion this morning, because where she's sitting, half her face is in bright light and half of it is in dark. And you want your candidates to be able to see the whole of you, and not just half a face. I did exactly the same, Claire, the first couple of weeks, and people were saying, Jo, your lighting isn't right, and then one of our business networker guys sent me a link for this light, and amazing, really good. So it's really, really good to practice. We tell our candidates to practice. We say the same to our clients. Tone, pitch. You want to come across as friendly. You just want to be real. And that's why I say have a couple of people on the interview, so you can have a couple of questions each. So while one person is asking the question, the other person is looking at the candidate and checking their body language, checking their tone, checking their pitch. We do a lot of virtual interviews. We have done for years, because a lot of our clients have national and hub offices all across the country. And so we can't bob up and down to London Gatwick and London Central and Scotland to do candidate interviews. So we've been doing them for years. So it's good to practice, really, really good to practice. Oh, there's my team. Oh. So number 9, optional follow-up call with the team without you. So if you're the business owner, or you're the HR manager, or the team leader, this is what we do. So my team will interview candidates if we're recruiting. They will interview the candidates first of all, and they'll go, oh, we've just interviewed this great candidate. Her name is this, she's looking for this. And we really think that she'll make a great member of staff with JF Recruit. Great. So I speak to the candidate then, and then I do an interview. And as part of that second interview with me, because I'm involved in the second interview, I have a one-on-one with them to really get to know them. And then I bring the team in, and they will ask questions as a team and see how they gel with us as a team. And then I will leave the room, and this is really powerful because not many people do it. And I say to the candidate, right, you can ask them anything, and they'll be really truthful, and they really are. They will be really truthful what it's like to work in JF Recruit and what I'm like to work for. And if you can have that camaraderie within your teams that are recruiting and within your business, it really shows, because everybody is involved. My team will make the decision with me as to who we recruit for JF Recruit. It's so important, because if I'm out on meetings all day, backwards and forwards, networking, meetings, client meetings, candidate interviews, they may be, I may not be in the office for a couple of days. I may be here, there and everywhere. But they've got to work with them every day. And they've got to be involved in that decision-making process. It's so important. So important. And I've liked people and they haven't, and they've said why. And I've gone, oh, right, okay. I missed out on that. Especially when I went out the room, they said, they said this, they said that, they said the other. So it's really, really important. And it also gives the candidate, it just helps them to make a really good decision as to which company and which job offer they're going to accept. Because again, you're always thinking, the people that we interview, I always think people that we interview, they've got 3 other job offers. So we've got to be the best employer. We've got to sell ourselves, because if we want the best employees, we have to be a great employer to attract them. And, we're always learning. We're always looking at ways in which we can improve ourselves and our offering and our employee benefits and, the whole package. We were on a course yesterday, mental health first aid course. Oh gosh, I recommend everybody to do the mental health first aid course. It's a 3-hour course run by one of my business colleagues that I deliver redundancy seminars with. He's absolutely superb. We're all based. It's an accredited course. Obviously you pay for it, but it's not that expensive. And I think it's like 200-300 quid, something like that, for the 3 of us total. But he is excellent, and we learned lots, and it was great to just come together as a team as well, and even though Faye, we've still got on furlough, Claire's back full time. I hope Faye will be back next week, hopefully, or the week after, fingers crossed. But it was great to get together and do a team training, which was really, really good. So that's great. And then feedback. So you will interview the candidates and say to each one, thank you so much for your time. Do you have any questions for me or the team? And that's where you listen and answer the questions and listen some more. And it should be 80-20. They should be talking for 80% of the time and you should be talking for 20% of the time. So is it the Pareto law, Pareto rules, 80-20. So once they've asked the questions, and it might be a big list, which would be great because that shows that they've done the research and that they're prepared, especially if they use a notebook. Love that, law notebook. You will then feed back to them, thank you so much for attending today. We've got, for example, 3 other candidates that we're interviewing today. We probably won't go to second interview. We will make an offer. We're going to get together in a huddle today or tomorrow. So you will be notified by Friday. So Friday we'll be hopefully coming back to everybody, or we will come back to you on Friday before 12. Always remember that the candidates may have other interviews, other job offers. So you're going to be competing against those other job offers. If you can be really clear on your timelines, it's just respect. It really is respect. You know, when we're dealing with clients, you know, we say, yeah, we'll get back to you then. And we get back to them then. So you deliver on your promises. It's exactly the same. As when you use an agency, when you use ourselves, we, you know, push for feedback all the time, and timelines on feedback, timelines on when they're going to interview, when they are going to give feedback, because that feedback is so important, and it's constructive feedback as well. So when you're feeding back to the 4 candidates on the Friday morning, thank you so much for your time. We really enjoyed seeing you and meeting you. You've got so much to offer. Unfortunately, we have gone with another candidate who's just got a little bit more experience in this area, but you have got a great culture fit for us. We'd like to keep your details on file. We are growing, we are expanding, and hopefully, you know, I'm sure you'll be snapped up really quickly, but we would like to contact you in the future if we get other positions. Would that be okay with you? Now, that is really nice feedback. It's constructive because you've actually said they've done really well, but it's just on an area of expertise that another candidate just was a little bit better at, or had a little bit more experience. But if you can give that feedback in that manner, oh, it's amazing. I can't tell you how, you know, the calls that we get with candidates that they don't get feedback, they don't know what they've done right or wrong. They automatically assume if they haven't got the job, they did it all wrong. And you can help alleviate that. Plus, you look like a great employer because you've given proper feedback and proper timelines, and you've fed back on the timeline, and you've given them constructive feedback and been really honest. Honesty is so important because it's your company reputation on the line as well. Because candidates speak to clients, speak to candidates, everybody speaks to everybody. We speak to, you know, 30, 50 candidates at least a day about jobs, where they've worked, what they liked about the company, what they didn't like, why they left, why they stayed. You know, the one reason why people leave a job is bad management. Number 2 at the moment is around location, believe it or not. Salary is about 4th or 5th. People are slicing thousands off their salary requirements just to get culture fit, great management, location, and can they work from home? Can they work from the office? Can they be flexible? Can they do 3 and 2, 3 days working in the office, 2 days working from home? The more flexible you can be with your workforce, then the better. So, we're hearing feedback on non-feedback on interviews all day, every day. So it's really, really important. So timelines, it will stand you head and shoulders above your competitors that are also recruiting at the moment. So I've whizzed through that. Oh, so that was 40 minutes. So we've got 15 minutes of questions. Over to Charlotte or Steve.
Thanks for that, Jo. I think Phil's put a couple of questions in the chat, so I'll hand you over to Phil if that's all right.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah. Yeah, put 2 down, Jo. First one is, do you think there'll be a trend towards more temporary short-term contracts for employees going forward after coronavirus?
Yes. Our clients are saying that they are a little bit scared of taking on permanent staff. So it's the overheads again. Every company is looking at the overheads, and they need people in the jobs, but they don't necessarily want a tie-in period. So they will take on temporary staff in the meantime until the situation for them gets better. It's all about pipeline. There are companies that are hemorrhaging money because their overheads are so high and they've got no money coming in. They've got no business coming in, and they've got all that money going out. So if you can take temps on, we supply temporary staff to businesses, marketing staff, admin, customer service, so machinists for one of our clients. We recruit their head office staff, like customer service, operations, sales, admin, and they were really struggling to recruit for sewing machinists. And we said, well, it's not our normal bag, but let's see what we can do. And we found them, and they temped, and they temped right through COVID. They've temped all the way through the last 12 weeks, and then got taken on permanent. Which was just amazing, absolutely amazing. And they were working 60-hour weeks.
Wow.
And they proved to be great employees, so much so that the company had to give them a permanent job because they did such a great job. But that company supplies to the NHS and got some great
business
contracts. Yeah, so they're doing really, really well as a business. It's a great employer locally. Fabulous. Next question.
It's me again. Just one final one. Just on personal experience, from what I've heard a few people say, do you think there'll be a big shift in people leaving their current job and moving on somewhere once furlough is complete? So I think they've had time to think about, I don't like working there, and I'm thinking of moving on.
One short answer: yes. There's a huge candidate shift for various reasons. I spoke about that before. They don't want to stay with the company because of the way they've been treated. They don't like the management. They prefer working at home. They don't want to travel anymore. They want a remote, home-based position. Spoke to a guy in London. He's last week a HR guy who were recruiting. Their site is in Ellesmere Port, but he's based in London in the headquarters. And he does a 2-hour commute into work every day. And I was like, how do you feel about that? And he was like, well, it's a new job and I feel really bad. This is a HR manager. I feel really bad bringing it up. But I want to work from home. I said, just ask the question. Anyway, we had a chat, and he sent me a message a couple of days ago, and he said, I'm now working 1 day in the office and 4 days from home. Thank you so much. I just had to ask the question, didn't I? I said, just ask the question. If it doesn't matter whether you've been with the company 5 minutes or 5 years. Communication is paramount with your staff. And if they feel that they can't ask you a question, then something is wrong. And you've really got to open those channels of communication. So important. Does that help?
Super. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. There's a question from Susan, so I'll pass you over to Susan. Unmute.
You're on mute, Susan.
There we go.
Hi,
Can you hear me?
Sue. How are you?
Right, sorry. Hi, Jo. Great presentation. Thanks very much. Sorry, really dodgy video. Yeah, so I work in outplacement, and one of my questions is, because I've seen it happen once, will employers try to get employees on the cheap, if you like, using the vernacular? You know, they're a great candidate, companies are cutting overheads. Are they going to try and get them cheap? And because that's one of my concerns for my clients as I'm trying to help them into the job market.
Okay, great question. Some are, some aren't. The client I was just speaking about, the company based in Ellesmere Port, head office down south, he came to me because he's a new HR. He didn't know what the salary expectations were around here. So we had a really good conversation about that. And I said, at the end of the day, if you can afford to pay top dollar for the top candidate, then pay it. Because you're then, when a candidate accepts a lower salary than what they are worth, then they will always have an eye elsewhere. So that we have it, the candidates ring us and go, we've accepted that job and we're starting on Monday, but we don't want to work there, but we need money. We need to pay our bills. So I'm going to take that 25k job, but I really need 30k. You know, I need that, Jo, because I've got this, that and the other, and kids and whatever. So I'm going to accept 25, but keep looking for me.
Yeah, makes sense. Thanks very much. Yeah.
And that's what's going to happen. There's going to be a shift in people accepting jobs right now just for the short term. The employer won't know. They'll go, oh, we've got this candidate for 5k, and I've heard them bragging rights. They've got a 25k candidate for 20k, and I'm like, they're not going to stay. Okay, you're going to save 5k a year, but you're going to invest in that candidate. You're going to invest in that new employee. They're going to get to know everybody in your business. Your clients are going to get to know them. They're going to be the face of your business, like every employee is. And then they're going to leave you for an extra 5k because you haven't paid them what they're worth.
Yeah, really good answer. Thanks
But
for that.
I understand that companies want to cut costs. I totally get it. I totally get it. What some clients have done is they've said they've done a staged offer. So okay, we're going to bring you back. We're going to start you on 80% of your wages. So yeah, we want to give you 25, but we can't afford it as a business at the moment. But we don't want to lose you. So we want you in our business. We're going to pay you 25k, but we're going to pay you 80% of that to start off with. We want 100% of you in the business, but we're going to pay you 80% of your salary. And that will be reviewed in 4 weeks' time. And then it'll be reviewed in another 4 weeks' time. So you're given timelines. And what you want to say is what ideally I want to happen with you, Susan, as the new employee, is I want to be able to pay you 20k now, 22k in a month's time, 23k another month, and get up to 25k within the next 6 months. Does that sound fair to you? It's all about being fair and honest. So does that sound fair to you? And you've got, if you are fair, it's all about negotiation, isn't it? Negotiation is about being fair.
Yes.
And I completely see both sides all the time, but it's all about being fair. But a great question, thank you. Great to see you.
Yeah, I think it's being fair rather than unscrupulous. That's what I want to make sure that people I'm advising, make sure you know why they're asking for you for less money. Is it just because they want to save overheads? Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I think there's a question from Matt. I'll hand you over to Matt.
Morning, Joe.
Hi, gorgeous Matt.
How you doing?
Oh, amazing. Yeah, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, great presentation. So obviously, you know, we've done work for you in the past. We appreciate that, and we're growing as a company. And so I thought, you know, I'll come onto this and get a feel, because we had an interview with somebody and we felt that we weren't prepared. So I've come on this morning to give me a boost up, and it really has really good insight. And there's a question I'd like to ask you for your time, you taking your time out to help us. Is there a company that you would like to have an introduction to?
I love you, Matt.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. A little pitch. Accountants love us, okay, because our last 8 invoices were raised from accountants, because they send all our clients to us because we help their clients recruit effectively make more money, they become more profitable, and then the accountants can charge them more. Okay.
Yeah.
So accountants.
Any specific name companies that you would like an introduction to? Because
I'll give you 2. So we would like an introduction to Gareth Cooper from GRC Accountants in West Kirby. And we also want to recruit for Liverpool School of Tropical Medicine. Liverpool School of Tropical Medicine have got a superb reputation of being a great employer in Liverpool. They are growing. They've got an open checkbook from Melinda and Bill Gates to cure malaria. So they've got an open checkbook, and they are going to get bigger and bigger. And we don't get any candidate applications from Liverpool School of Tropical Medicine. Do we, Claire? Do we, Faye? We don't get them because everybody stays. The great employer. So we want to recruit for great employers. And you may think, well, that's weird because they haven't got any turnover. But they do, because every company has around between 5 and 10% attrition. So 5 and 10% of staff will leave naturally due to location, job changes, whatever. So, you know, that still gives us, and they're still using recruitment agencies for temp and permanent. But thank you, Matt. That's lovely.
Thank you.
Any other questions? 3 minutes left.
I think that's it from the chat. So if there's any other questions, fire away.
Do you think office environments, so you talked about cultures and team culture, do you think the office environment has a major factor to you know, productivity within the workplace?
Yes, it does. Matt Tomlinson owns MD Fit Out together with Dave Barnes. Matt is here, and they do office fit outs for companies like Chester Zoo, and they fitted out our offices to make it look gorgeous and shiny and new, and basically helped brand the office. And it really does make a difference. Claire, what did you think?
It really does make a difference. It having the right office environment just makes you feel like you're working for a corporate business, a professional business. You feel you just have that sense of feeling when you go into a business. And some of the clients that we go and visit, you can tell, and you get candidate feedback, and the candidates are like, oh, I didn't like the office. And it really does. You're just like, oh, cringe, because you want them to go, I love that office, I really want to work there.
What do you think, Faye?
Yeah, I agree. I think if you're working in a nice environment, then obviously it makes such a difference to your day when you go into work in the morning. If you're like a dingy office, it doesn't put you in a good space to kind of work.
And what is our candidate, Faye? What's our candidate feedback for when they go and have interviews down at the offices in Bergen Head that Matt's team did the fit out for? You know which ones I'm talking about?
Yeah, they love it.
Oh, they've got breakout pods. Isn't it gorgeous?
Yeah, it's lovely.
Okay. So yeah, it makes a huge difference. But in the virtual world, Matt, what I would suggest that you hook up with the people that do the walk around videos, and once you've done that office, if you can get them and introduce a video company such as the two that I use, and I'll give you the details. We use High Impact Media, so Kylie and Georgia, and we also refer out to Michael Roberts from, is it Take the Cake Productions or Bake the Cake?
Take the cake.
Take the cake.
Bake the cake. Or Take the Cake, something like that. But if anybody wants the contact details, they do the video walk rounds of businesses, really funky, and it doesn't cost a lot, but it's a really great way for you, Matt, for them to then showcase what you've done, and then they showcase that on their website to say this is a great place to work, because candidates can't make that decision at the moment because they can't go into the offices. They may be catapulted into the offices 3 months later after they've already accepted the position, and go, oh my God, what have I done? Why am I working here? It's horrendous, you know? So anything that helps candidates make a great decision, anything that helps employers look like the great employer that they are, helps everybody. So Matt, I'll give you their details on email after this, and make contact with them, and they're doing deals for World Chamber members as well. I didn't say that, but they know they are.
Yeah.
Is that okay for everybody? If anybody got any other questions or anything, then email me, jo@jfrecruit.co.uk, and that's it. That's all done.
Thank you very much.
Jo.
Great.
Just before we go, I've got everybody on a big screen on my computer here, and I'm going to take a photograph. So if you all want to sit up straight, a nice big smiley face with a thumbs up, I'll take a photograph and I'll share it on social media.
Thanks,
right?
Matt. We're doing jazz hands.
3, 2, 1. Nice one.
Thanks very much, Jo, and thanks everyone for joining us today.
Well done, Jo. Brilliant.
You.
See you soon.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Well done.